I have Christopher Duddy on the other line for your phone interview.
Okay. Thanks, Katrina.
Go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry?
Thanks, Katrina, I said.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Are you Katrina?
Oh, no, I'm not Katrina. I'm Samantha.
Okay, that's right. Sorry.
No problem. I'll go ahead and put you through now, and you'll have 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. 1 second. Hi, Chris. You're on with Kenny.
Okay. Hi, Kenny.
Hi, Chris. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well as well. Where are you located?
I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay. So,
Where are you?
I'm in Kansas City, Missouri.
Oh, all right. Right on.
You've never been there either.
I have not been to Kansas City, but I was born in Peoria, Illinois. So and my parents are from Peoria and Springfield, Illinois.
So you know the area, of course.
Yeah, I'm a Midwest guy.
So Chris, tell me how this all came together for you.
Well, how it came together was, I've been a filmmaker my whole career, and my wife and I moved into the same neighborhood that Duff lives in. I don't know if he still lives there. We moved since the movie's been done, but I met Duff. We were walking our kids to school, and there was a school at the end of our street, and we would walk our kids to school every day. And we met, and I would see him almost every morning walking our kids to school. We just became friends, and we bonded over sports and being dads, and we both had 2 girls, and we had a lot in common, and we're the same age, and so we just we became friends, and we watched football games together and everything, and he wrote when his book came out, he gave me a copy, and he said, "Hey man, will you you want to read the book?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, man." And I like a lot of people, I only knew the Guns N' Roses forward of Duff's story, and I didn't know his backstory at all. I didn't even know he was from Seattle. So when I read the book, it kind of blew me away how honest he was in the book, and where he came from, and I just thought the book was really well written, and it touched a chord in me, and I just found it to be like one of those pieces that's very inspirational and personal and humanizing, and I just thought it would make a great documentary, and so when I first approached him about it, he said no, and he thought the book was enough, and I was just persistent because as a filmmaker, you long for great stories to put on the screen, and I just thought his story was great, coming from where he came from, and his musical drive and his talent, and the lightning in a bottle that they caught with Guns N' Roses right off the bat, and then his struggles with drugs and alcohol, and he almost died. I mean, it's just there's a lot of story there to tell, and I just I'm connected to it, and I've had a near-death experience as well, and I just really connected with him and his story, and I just wanted to take it to the screen.
Well, that certainly makes a lot of sense. I too only knew the forward about Duff, and I was blown away by the trailer and the book that this guy is a Renaissance man in a lot of ways.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah, it's interesting that that guy I saw up there rocking back in the 90s, late 80s, is the same person. You always get these archetypes built up of what a rock star is going to be, and you don't think that they could, that there's more depth to them. They're very depthless in viewing a concert, so to speak. But there's so much here. I really think this documentary is going to be it might slow burn, but it's going to be a massive success because of its inspirational nature, not just to people who are fans, but to uh, the average person. It's a very inspirational story. I think he's going to hit the talk show circuit too. Do you have plans of that?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I can only hope. That's what you set out to make something that people are gonna, respond to, and Duff and I all, we set out to make something that was gonna be an uplift for people, and I think that's what he set out to do with his book. So, that was the goal, was to make something that would lift people and be inspirational. And I gotta tell you, when we first started the process, it was when the book came out in paperback as a New York bestseller, and Duff's, when he finally agreed to, like, okay, maybe if we're going to do this documentary, maybe you should come with me on the press, the press junket for the paperback release, and now it's a New York bestseller, and and there was, I went with him he was doing a book signing at Book Soup in Hollywood, and there was a line of people out the door, all the way down the street, and I was just shooting some stuff. I went out and I talked to a few people out on the street, and like towards the end of the day, this guy had waited in line for a couple hours to get Duff to sign his book, and when he finally got up to Duff, he was like, "Hey man," and he hugged Duff. He gave Duff this big hug, and he said, "Hey, I just want you to know that I read your book when I was in rehab, and you saved my life. And I've been sober now for whatever it was, like 6 months."
Whoa!
And it just, I mean, I'm telling you this story, and I'm getting goosebumps. And
yeah, me too.
When I saw that was when I knew we were on to something, and this was the right thing to be doing. Like, this movie had to be, his story needed to be told, and a lot of people, when they're, when you agree to make a documentary about yourself, it can be real tricky because, you're pulling the curtain back on your life, and a lot of people don't want to show the bad stuff. Most people want to just show the good stuff, right?
Right.
And that's what really touched a chord in me. Also, when I read the book, was how honest Duff was, about the dark stuff and the demons that he struggled with, and I just thought it was really powerful. And then adding the book reading show to the movie was something unexpected as well, because I didn't, I'd never seen anybody do that before. And the first time I saw him do that book reading show was when he asked me to go with him to the Hall of Fame induction, when Guns N' Roses got inducted into the Hall of Fame. And he said, come a day before the Hall of Fame thing, I'm doing this book reading show. And I was like, book reading show? I don't even know what that is. He goes, just come, you'll see. I don't want to even try to explain it to you. So he did it at the House of Blues in Cleveland. And so I went, and I was equally blown away like I was from reading the book, but him doing this book reading show. And then I started watching the audience watch him. It was a packed room at the House of Blues. And people really were responding emotionally, on an emotional level, to what he was doing on stage. And he was sitting on a stool reading pages out of his book while his band Loaded was like kind of scoring his spoken word. And I was like, wow, I've never really seen anything like this before on this level, and how it touched people. And so when we got back to LA, I was like, Duff, this is the thing, this is what we could do to make this documentary even, you have a great story here, inspirational and everything, but this book reading thing could be a great device to propel the storytelling from chapter to chapter, and give the audience this, just this cool look at that, and, the music of the show, the music is really powerful, I think, because you're hearing these iconic songs, Guns N' Roses songs, Velvet Revolver songs, and some Loaded songs that, you're hearing these iconic songs played in a real kind of dramatic way with the steel slide guitar and the string quartet and you know all these rock guys with tattoos that are wearing suits and ties and stuff. It was it's real special, you know.
Wow. I didn't know about the suits and ties. Wow.
Yeah, when they did in the reading show, Duff's wearing a black suit, you know, white shirt and a tie, and it's real. It's a real contrast from what you normally see these guys, you know, with tank tops and all their tattoos out, and you know, long hair, and you know, tight jeans and boots and whatever, and they all showed up, and you know, when we were designing this show for the movie, you know, Duff really wanted to, you know, he really wanted to make the show different. And we, you know, from the beginning, we set out, we really wanted to make this documentary different and, you know, out of the box and not just your typical, like, talking head documentary. And then we're going to interview this guy and then show some photographs and clips. You know, we really wanted to kind of layer it. And that's why, you know, we used animation and we have, you know, we have all this footage that, this never before seen footage that this guy, Mark Cantor, shot on a VHS camcorder back when Guns N' Roses first started playing these club dates, you know, back in the early 80s. And he gave me all this footage and he said, you know, I mean, that's a whole nother story. Like, we could make a whole documentary just out of that footage if one day, like, Guns N' Roses wants to do a full, you know, GNR documentary. But anyway, so you know, this It's So Easy documentary is very layered with you know all kinds of stuff. It's very visual and
Yeah, when I saw it, I definitely noticed that it wasn't a typical documentary in terms of its form, where you show a still, show a still, and you do a lot of content on a still, and then you slip back to an interview, and this was really dynamically filmed, and that adds to the whole. It's an inspirational film. There's no doubt about it, and I'm going purely here on the trailer and the book, and
so you haven't seen the whole movie yet?
no, I haven't. I understand it doesn't come out till the 5th officially.
Yeah, it comes out next week, July 5th on VOD and iTunes, where you know you can download it. But now I can't wait for you to see the whole movie.
Yeah, because I also am a near-death survivor, so that makes 3 of us here in this little group.
Yeah, I mean, it's real relatable. A lot of people. I mean, I gotta say, there's a lot of people out there that have had similar, you know, almost, you know, entanglements. We could say with drugs and alcohol. Mine was my near death was not with drugs and alcohol, although I've partaken. But you know, I had a helicopter accident that I survived. You know, so that was my near death experience. But a lot of people, you know, have had brushes with death in this world. Most people have, I bet, you know, and I think this, you know, Duff's story is really, really relatable in that way, you know.
Yeah, plus the people that are struggling, I mean, the people, the odds of coming out of addiction is low, and the people that are struggling with that, to see a cool person still having fun, you know, that's the first thing you think is, geez, I'll never have fun again, and not just fun, but just enjoying the greatest period in his life, and that's really going to be powerful. I predict this is going to get picked up everywhere, and I even saw. I was surprised to see his biography in an airport.
To see his what?
His bio in an airport, standing out in front of everything else, in a display.
Oh.
But you know, bestseller. Yeah. It's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh. I'm sorry. sorry, was there a question there? I didn't quite get that.
No, I was just commenting on the fact that you know, I don't want to gush too much, but this has really got something unique and that you don't see in any kind of documentary, especially rock and roll documentaries, So if you could put it in that category, but I don't know that I would, but I think this is really going to affect a lot of people, and there's going to be after press and invitations to speak, and that's my prediction.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. I mean, that's what we set out to do. You know, that's what, you know, because he was real, like I said, he was real reluctant at first to even make it into a documentary. And you know, when he finally kind of agreed to do it, you know, he was real adamant, and we had lots of discussions about how can we make this different and stand out and you know, and be inspirational, because that was a big, for both of us. You know, we both wanted to do something that would inspire people and help people and be an uplift, and you know, that we set out to do that, and I think we accomplished it. You know.
Okay, I'm going to pause here because our publicist said we had 15 minutes. Do you want me to go into a wrap-up, or?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll edit that out, of course. So where can we find this video?
Say that again?
Where can we get this video?
Well,
consumers.
On July 5th, it's gonna, you know, it'll be on demand. So whatever your like DirecTV or you know whatever your cable provider, it'll be on the on demand.
Okay.
And then it also simultaneous with that, it'll be available on iTunes starting July 5th. And then I don't know when it's going to come out on DVD yet, but you know, and then I believe they said a couple months after the iTunes release, then we have a deal with Netflix, so it'll also be available on Netflix probably like in September, I would think.
Oh, that's good.
And it is being released internationally. We've already June 20th we released in the UK on DVD, and we've already we've sold Japan, Australia, Europe. We're negotiating a deal right now for Brazil and Mexico and some other Latin territories. So it's going to get out there pretty wide.
There's no doubt about it. Well, thanks for your time, folks. This is Chris Duddy, producer and filmmaker.
Yeah, producer and director, yes.
Producer and director of the It's So Easy and Other Lies film by detailing the Duff McKagan story and its intersection with Guns N' Roses, promising to be one of the biggest documentary releases this year. Thank you so much for listening, and thank you for your time, Chris. We really appreciate it.
All right, yeah, appreciate it too. Enjoy the film, everybody.